Okay, so this is my spoiler review of Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga. I've now seen the movie 3 times in theatres, which is the most times I've seen a movie since Star Wars The Force Awakens. So yeah, I did really like this movie. I did like the story that it had to tell. And I do like how it is actually very different from Mad Max Fury Road. This one's definitely more focused on the characters and kind of the story and like the lore of the world. It shows a lot more of the wasteland of what it did in Fury Road. In this movie, you get to see the Bullet Farm, you get to see Gas Town, you also get to see the Green Place very briefly. And now the Green Place is supposed to be very mysterious. It's George Miller does not tell where this place is. It's just basically just this place of mystique, this intrigue, this very tiny dot of greenery and this massive, barren, desolate wasteland which these movies take place in. As I said, you don't see much of it. It's only in like the first, not even 5 minutes of the movie. You also get to briefly see Furiosa's mother for about, I'd say 10-15 minutes in this opening chase that starts off the movie. And as you probably know, and if you've seen this movie is at its core a revenge story. It is the story of Furiosa seeking retribution against the man who killed her mother, which is Dementus. And it's basically just like a story from when she was a young child to when she becomes a young adult, and how she kind of moved up the ranks in the Citadel, how she doesn't she hides her gender, she hides the fact that she's a woman in this place so she can fit in with the war boys and fit in with the rest of the Citadel society, I guess. It also tackles like themes of like making yourself useful in society, which is funny. It's kind of flipped on its head where you see all these ridiculous people in all these ridiculous roles, like the history man who just, his existence is just to educate the people of what the world used to be like before the apocalypse. He has all these things written all over his face, all over his fingers, so he doesn't forget anything, which is pretty ridiculous when you think about it. Also, David Collins is in this movie as well. I think he played Smeg, which is basically just which is basically Dementus's little helper. I called him Umbilicus in the movie because that's what I thought he was. So yeah, that was pretty funny. I did like him in the movie, even though he had very few lines. The actor who played Immortan Joe was great too. Of course, Hugh Keays-Byrne has now passed away, so he couldn't play that character anymore, but I do like how they actually got someone younger than him to play the character, because it would have been weird if he was playing a younger version of himself and he looked the way he did. Who else is in this movie? All the supporting characters are there. Nathan Jones is there as Rictus Erectus as well. His brother Scrotus is there, which actually very similarly looks like Slit from Fury Road. And I'm kind of have like a sneaking suspicion that Slit actually might be Scrotus, except he's like a bit more insane and a bit less human. I don't know. Maybe they are different characters, but I think they were played by the same actors. It certainly looked that way. But anyway, onto the story. So I think the main spoiler about this movie is that in a very rare instance in movie history, the main character actually gets her revenge and exacts it perfectly. So basically, in most movies, the person fails to get their revenge. They realise that revenge is not worth it. It just ruins everything that they love and makes everything worse, with some examples being Last of Us Part 2, Avatar The Last Airbender. Let's see, are there any? I can't really think of many others, but there are heaps of revenge stories in cinema, and this is the only one where the main character did something that I honestly did not expect that they would at the end of this movie. So it goes through like all the possible scenarios. There's this narrator saying she could have just shot him. She could have dragged him across the desert the same way he dragged people across the desert, perversities of justice. But it says that the truth is that she actually planted the seed from the green clase inside his body, and it slowly grows out of him, causing him to die in the absolute slowest and most horrible way that you could possibly imagine. And that was her revenge. So I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I really loved the scene. It was really a really original take on like revenge. I'm not sure if Furiosa truly gained anything out of this. I mean, like, I guess it made it feel really good that she was able to exact something that made her feel better as a person. But overall, it was just a really well constructed scene, and of course, the special effects of Chris Hemsworth slowly withering away, holding onto the ground, trying to cling onto whatever life he has left, was a good visual for like the movie. It's definitely what stuck in my mind over the past couple of weeks, and it is a really very well crafted revenge sequence that I thought was done incredibly well. And so yeah, that's all about spoilers. So this movie, it's definitely a lot more story heavy than the previous. It is 20 minutes longer than Mad Max Fury Road. There is a lot less action in it, though. There is a very lengthy action sequence with a tanker, which does look... it's obvious that this tanker is different to the one that Furiosa drives in Fury Road, because this one has chrome all over it. It has like markings and inscribings and pictures of Morton Joe, while the one in Fury Road is just black. But overall, it was a really good movie. I really did enjoy what I saw here, and I really did like how original this movie approached revenge. It definitely got really to like deep into like the roots of it, where most revenge stories are very surface value. So I do applaud George Miller for taking a concept that's been done to death and going really, really deep into it to find something new. So that's what I liked about this movie. So that's what I think about this movie in spoiler terms. Hope you enjoyed what I have to say about it, and as always, thanks for watching.